Hey, morning everyone. Hey, morning everyone. Today we're going to be taking a look here at something new for me at least. Something that I think is maybe not even, we'll say, fully ready to go, as far as I can tell. We're going to take a look at new Xamarin technology out here called Comet. Comet is sort of a new. Let me just get this thing going here too, before I forget what I'm doing. There we go. Comet is a new UI framework for Xamarin platforms, right? So when we think Xamarin platforms, when I think Xamarin platforms, when probably most of us think about it, um, we've got sort of Xamarin native. So we've got Xamarin iOS and Android and Windows platforms and the Mac and all that kind of good stuff. And then, however many years ago it was now, it seems like forever, but I know it's not. We had Forms introduced, right? And so Forms kind of standardized all the UIs for us out there. So how do we, instead of having to write like UI buttons and Android widget buttons and all this kind of good stuff, just write a button and let Forms figure out what the heck happens to it from there. Today though, we're going to look at something that's new, right? Something that's different. And so Comet here is sort of a new take on sort of a standardized way to build UIs, right? And so instead of using like our traditional MVVM pattern out here, Comet out here is going to use the MVU pattern, so model view update. I haven't done much with MVU. I've messed around in Flutter and stuff like that, and I know it's basically the same type of pattern that I think that they're using out there as well. Yeah, this is going to be my first foray into it as well. So I figured this would be kind of a cool thing if people were interested in this, if people wanted to see, what's going on out here, what kind of other cool UI technologies are happening. We could both kind of figure out how to do it and see how to go here. So I'm out here on the Comet page. I'll just go ahead. I'll grab the link for it here and I'll paste that into chat. Maybe I'll paste it into chat. Copy. Paste. Boom. There's a link for the Comet framework if anybody wants to go grab it there, if anyone's going to mess around with it on their side. So yeah, let's take a look. So I know Comet here is being put together by James Clancy. So he is, if you don't know James, he is a longtime Xamariner, and also, now at Microsoft now. But he's been part of that team, I think, the entire time. Somebody could probably correct me, but as far as I think, as long as I've been doing Xamarin, I think I've known him to be there as well. So, all right, so cool. So let's take a look. Let's go to the getting started here. Maybe that's a good place to start. A few things to know. Visual Studio Code. Interesting. All right. I mean, I've got it. Let's see. Make our ride more enjoyable. I like that. So let's go ahead and let's get this totally set up. Terminal. And we're going to run this new. I don't know if this is going to create a project. Let's see. If I could bump that font up. I can. Do that for now. Let's see. What happens when we do this? Tell me, I don't know what that is. Let's see what it say. Install the template pack. Comet app. Is that what I did? Is that what that is? Oh no. So now I've got that one. All right, yeah. So now I can do a Comet app. So that's what that did for me. Gotcha. All right, so now I could do a new Comet app, it looks like. I'm probably going to run it from source code, though. I think I pulled down the whole Comet repository, so I think we're going to play around kind of in that area to start off with, at least, and then maybe we'll start up a new project from there. And then it says, what else? Install the VS Code Comet debug extension. All right. Like VS Code. Just clean up some stuff that I got out here. See if we could do a new window. Rip. There we are. All right, and let's come out here, find some plugins, and we're looking for the Comet debug. Cool. All right, so I don't know what that does yet, but we've got it. It's time to ride the Comet. Okay, so I think, like I said, so I don't think we're going to do this part just yet, because I think I'm actually going to run the app from, I took a poke around here, and it looks like there's kind of like a tester app, and I think we're going to run from there and kind of poke around and get familiar with it on that side. So, what else here? It looks like that's it. So we had a question here. Does it mean that I have to use VS Code and can't use Visual Studio? I don't know. I can't answer that yet. We're both gonna find out here. I'm guessing we're using. There's no way that we're not using Visual Studio for the Mac. It has all the bits in there to know how to deploy everything. Clancy is quite skilled, but I don't think he ported. There's no way he ported everything to get all the hooks for the simulators and all that kind of good stuff over. So I'm guessing this is probably just like a quick debugger or something like that we could use, or maybe like an inspector that we could use while we're running our app out there. But I guess, I could be totally wrong. We will find out, I suppose. All right, so let's go back. Let's jump back over to here. So let's see, some key concepts. MVU pattern, right? So a view is a screen, okay? It's not like a page anymore, so now we have a view. So we're taking this from like Xamarin.Forms terms. We had a page as a screen, now we have a view as a screen, and a view has a body method. Oh, so it's like a view and a view, okay? I see, like you just nest them. Cool. And then we have a body attribute that we can assign, or it looks like there is a body property that we could assign to. So cool, that's cool. Hot reload included by default. I'm into that. And we've got to install a plugin from that. So let's go see. Some binaries. All right, so I've got this one here. So the MPAC, I know. So the VSIXs are going to be for, I don't want to call it real Visual Studio. Let's say Visual Studio on Windows, right? So that's going to be a plugin for Visual Studio on Windows, and these MPACs will be for the Mac. So let's go and snag that one there, and we'll run this here really quick. Let's see here. So let's come out to here. All right, and then we got Visual Studio, we'll do some extensions. And hopefully it's compatible. Like, this is fairly old, from July. So let's see, I don't know. These Visual Studio plugins are always kind of weird. Let's see. Downloads. A whole bunch of garbage. Do it. All right, didn't seem to like barf out on me. See if we've got it out here somewhere. Comet reload VS Mac, cool. All right. Sweet. What else do we have out here? Hot reload. Set that out here. I don't know. I feel like jumping in. Let's go ahead. Let's get up the source code repository. See what we got going on out there. So development, Comet, and I'm gonna go with Comet Mac because I'm guessing the other one probably has like UWP and stuff, and that's not gonna fly for us. All right. Hopefully everybody's having a good Saturday morning or whatever time it is out there for you when you're watching this. Pretty good night last night. Hung out with my kids. Watched the movie Hot Rod, which is pretty dumb, but I laughed quite a bit. We're going to go see Star Wars later today, which should be pretty fun. No spoilers if anybody's out there who's seen it. Nice. All right, so don't say anything about it. It was great? Okay, cool. No other spoilers. Hearing it was great, it's cool. It's actually awesome. My boys are in Scouts, and one of the dads actually has rented out a showing at the local theater. So it's going to be like a small crowd in there to see it, I think, you know, so, which is incredible. Like, what a cool thing to do. What a neat thing to have an experience to go do. So I'm pretty jazzed. I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan. This should be pretty neat. All right, let's take a peek here. So like I said, I'm going in blind as well. So we're going to take a look at what we got out here in the project itself. All right, so we've got a material folder. Hey, good morning there, Dan. We got a material folder out here, so it looks like they're pulling in some material controls. Let's take a look here. What do we got? An M button. Ah, yes. Material, if I take a look at this. Yeah, there's those Xamarin iOS material components. Okay, so I got a feel for what we got going on there. So this must be like, this handler must be like a renderer. This seems like a renderer to me. So that's cool. What else we got out here? Our platforms. So this is probably just our platform implementations. Samples. I think that's where we're going to start out here in a minute. Skia. I see Dan made a mention out here on the Skia stuff too. So yeah, I'm super in on that. Yeah, what I'd like to do today is, so we've got our Aurora controls. I'd like to see if I could like port an Aurora control over to here, just to see how that goes. So I'm actually, I forgot to open that up earlier. Do that over here in a few minutes. So Skia, I love seeing that. Means that he's already thinking about doing some custom drawing. Actually, let's take a poke and see what he's got going on in here. So we've got, all right, cool. Right, so we already got a custom button handler and a draw background, which I'm guessing is to do. What do we get? We get in our canvas. Okay, cool. And all right, so we get in, this is neat. So we get our canvas in. I assume we get some default background color just to know maybe what to clear the canvas with when we're drawing on it, is my guess maybe for what we're going to do with that. And then we get the dirty rectangle. Nobody appreciates a dirty rectangle. I'm guessing that this is so that it doesn't do like a full. So if you imagine like if our screen is like a big box or big rectangle, probably get the dirty rectangle just to redraw a certain part of it out there. I'm guessing that's probably what we're using that one for. So you don't have to do like a full, some controls, like some controls you kind of always have to repaint the whole thing. In other cases though, you really only need to like repaint a small portion of the screen. So like if you had I'm trying to think of an example where we do some of this. Like if I've got like a button control and it just has a little icon on it, I won't redraw the full thing. I'll just redraw that one area and leave all the rest of the pixels because it's a bit quicker out there. So that's cool. And then we just have some other Skia drawing stuff. So that's cool. I like that. And some interaction things. Sweet. All right, so we're going to come back to that. I think we're going to be spending a bit more time out here. But I already like what I'm seeing. That's neat. Let's take a look at Comet Skia iOS as well, too. So this drawable control handler, I'm guessing, is like... okay, I guessed wrong. I thought this might have been like Skia. Maybe this is like... okay, yeah, so it is kind of what I thought it was. It just sort of abstracted one more level. So it's that SK canvas view. Cool, I like that. So draw on that. Some registration that's going on out here. Registrar handlers. Okay, so we're not doing... So again, if you're coming from the forms world, you would normally have like... what is it? Like register, renderer, renderer register or something like that. It's like an attribute that you would throw on top of your custom renderers out there, and it looks like we're just doing it just with this method call out here. So here's my control, and here's like my real handler for this thing. So that's cool too. Okay, what else do we have? Then we've got like pure Comet. So let's take a peek through here. And I realize, you know what? This is probably hard to read. Let me bump up those fonts. I'm big in these ones too. Yeah, I know. That attribute, it's like one of those things that I copy and paste all the time for forms. Use it like all the time for doing custom renders, especially when we're doing Aurora stuff. But I don't know. I haven't committed that one to memory quite yet. Let me I grab this just in the background while we're doing this too. There's my chippy. All right, cool. All right, so let's take a look at raw Comet then. Let's take a look at the moving parts. So what do we have here? Alignment, design, device, not reload helper. I don't know. Let's take a look at device. All right, so we've got like some font, graphics, bitmap services. Cool. That's just kind of some setup stuff. Our registrar here looks like it's some kind of dependency injection or service locator type of component, as we saw that before. It's also cool. Let's keep on digging through here. Well, you know, none of the stuff stands out at me. I mean, like some of these things seem straightforward, like we've got shadows and some other bits out here, but I think let's just jump right in. Let's take a look. And this will probably be the best way, I think, to learn it, to kind of get started here. So we'll take, we've got our Comet samples. Actually, here, we'll come out here. We're going to run it on iOS. It's kind of always with me. It's sort of my default go-to platform out here is iOS. So let's see, Comet iOS sample. And what do we got? Let's take a look at the app delegate. Okay, so finish launching here is where we're going to go to once everything's been loaded up and ready in memory for us to start messing around with. All right, so we've got our Comet reload initializer. So let's get that thing started up here so we can listen for hot reload. That's cool. I hope that works well because I'm pretty excited about that. Material style, color palette blue. Okay, so we have like is this like built-ins? Yeah, it looks like these are kind of like built-ins. Comet styles, material, color palette. Okay. All right, let's go with blue. I like blue. enable the Skia. Release the Kraken, right? So enable the Skia. I'm cool with that. All right, and then what else we got here? UI window. So root view controller, main page. Interesting. Okay. We're starting up some kind of... It's my main page out here. All right. We're starting up some main page. And building up some things here. On selected, navigate, list view. Oh boy, look at this guy. Add range. Okay, cool. All right, so I think that's our start. So let's go ahead. So this looks like we're building up our UI. We've got like a 2-view controller. I wonder how much of this stuff just comes straight out of Forms. He's pretty smart, so I'd imagine he's selectively borrowing from Forms to get some of this stuff brought over here. Okay. 2-view controller. Okay. So it's just like a thing to wrap up our controls or unwrap our controls. Our view control to a view controller. Okay, that's cool. I get that. All right, let's give this a whirl. Then let's see where we start. Let me check the chat. Yes. So right, Dan's right here. So right, this is all code reloads. So this is no XAML. Anybody here knows me? I'm not the world's most #1 XAML fan. You know, been used. I use it. I wouldn't say I'm the #1 promoter for XAML though. Sorry, just waiting for this thing to load up. Yeah, I don't know. It's not really worth going into. I mean, the short story is I do a lot of my coding in code. I really like, you know, I know that there's the visual aspect of XAML and all that kind of cool stuff there. I totally get that 100%. And whatever you are the most productive in is what you should use. So more power to you. I've been doing Forms, you know, before XAML was even like a thing, I guess. I just got really comfortable doing it that way. And I also, I mean, the other big thing is I just like being in the code side of code. Like I really like the way that the IDE has its IntelliSense and stuff like that. And the IntelliSense hasn't always been the most awesome for XAML. So yeah, whatever. Not really worth getting into. Like I said, to each their own. It's not any kind of hill I'm willing to sit here and die on, but I prefer code. So this already is looking like, this is looking right up my alley. Dan gets it. he's heard me rant before, so he knows. Let's take a look here. Yeah, it looks like the controls are pretty lightweight, so I like that. And yeah, I think, at least from what I've seen so far, this looks pretty cool. So let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the app here. Again, I might have spent 2 minutes like months ago taking a look at this, but I haven't spent much time. So we've got like ride the Comet here. I can click and add comments to the UI. How many? Like I got to add like 10 or something. What does it do to add a new row? Okay. Interesting. Let's take a look at this code. Let's see what this looks like. Let's find ride the Comet. So we'll be out here in our samples. Let's see. Samples. Ride the Comet sample. Okay, so again, so we learned about this. So we've got our view, which is like our page. And then it also seemed like you could add like views, kind of. It's not like in Forms, it looks like. So in Forms, we'd have like a page, and then we'd have views that we would add to the page. But in Comet's world, it looks like you just have like a top level view, and then views inside of it. So that's actually kind of neat. All right, we got some new, a new comet that we're assigning here. What is a comet? Comet is a binding object. Okay, cool. So we've got some object that's going to raise change notifications, I assume. Let's just go all the way into binding. I notify property read. Whoa, what the heck is it? I notify, oh, it's just I notify property. Changed, but with a read. Okay, cool. It's I notify, so similar to I notify property change, but then we have a property read, which I assume, that's interesting. I wonder what that's going to be doing here. So is that going to be to notify that a property, so it's being used to notify that a property has been read, but I wonder how that's going to end up coming into play here. Interesting. Okay. And then it's sort of sysfollows similar to what Forms does underneath the sheets for like a bindable object. So there's like an internal dictionary with the name of the property and then the value for that assigned property. So that's cool. I like that. Here, this is topical. I was just talking about this on Twitter. So this is a value tuple, whatever, depending on how you want to say it. I'm going to say tuple. This one's using camel case out here, which if I were writing this externally, I'd always write it like this. As value and value with a capital H and a capital V, because I feel like that's more .NET-y, right? Like, give me my values with the actual casing that they should have out there, right? All right, cool. Just want to make sure nothing was going nuts. If I had like an internal thing though, like, so if I'm externally exposing this value tuple, like I always do it this way, sometimes if I have something internal, I'll leave it with the H and the V. Or like if I'm doing a link statement, sometimes like, it'll probably be hard to show it right now, but sometimes I'll end up with like an inbound, I'll have like an action or some kind of func coming in or a reactive extensions, combined latest or something like that. And since those are coming like inbound as the inputs for a function, they'll have lowercase values, and I'll just kind of pass those along. But usually when I expose these, I'll do a capital H and a capital V. But again, this one's internal, so it's not really meant for somebody else's consumption, so maybe that's okay. But I wish it like, if exposed, it would just auto capitalize those or do something weird. It's such a non-thing, but it makes me nuts still. All right, let's see here. Call property change red. Okay, so this is the rest of this. I'm just gonna take as being some crufty stuff, or not crufty stuff, but just some sort of internal boilerplatey stuff that we're not super concerned about. So let's come back to here, our Comet object then. So we've got our Comet object. We've got our rides. Look at this. Whoa. Cool. So we've got the number of rides. We've got the Comet train. Now this is interesting. So this is going to be quite a bit different than, I'm going to say like what I'm used to, probably what most of us are used to here, where this object is like our view model object, right? But it's different because, well, I don't know. Let's find out if it's different. I feel like that's our view model object. I'd like to know, and I'm sure Dan, knowing Dan, he's probably already wondering or asking about testability. I wonder how we create like a state and manage it outside of the UI here. I guess we'll figure that out. We'll find that out. Okay, so cool. So we've got our body here. We've got VStack, which I'm going to guess is like a vertical stack? Is there like a H stack? Yep, sure is. Ooh. Whoa, hold on. You guys see that? Check that out. Get out of town. Check this out. Yeah. It looks kind of broken right now, but that was incredible. Hang on, I'm gonna do that again. H stack. I haven't even saved. And it picked it up. Cool. It's like Dan. Yeah, so Dan says out here, yeah, keep in mind this is MVU, not MVVM. Yep, totally. Yeah, this is just a new pattern for me. Like I said, I haven't done much with MVU yet, so I just wonder how we, like, for example, what does the transition from an API call look like to get stuff into here? And maybe we'll come across a sample in here and kind of figure that out. So this is pretty cool. How... Oh, yeah, that's cool. All right. This is insane. I'm already into this. 10 out of 10. Shut it down. Stream over. This is what I've been wanting for everything. Cool. I'm freaking out a little bit here. This is cool. Ride the Comet. All right, so it must be listening for those, for the property changes getting notified out here. So I wonder, like, it's crazy though. So it must be listening for state changes happening in the editor window. And when it sees those, it pumps those out as well. So that must be part of what that plugin's doing out there. And then I'm guessing it's probably why we have to have this attribute out here, or why we assign this body property is I'm guessing that this just does a pass to repaint everything in here. Let me see. POC for Comet. Oh. Dan, is that, if I were to open up that project on the stream, is that okay? Are you cool with that or no? So Dan's got a, sounds like he's got a sample app that's got DI in there, Prism, Prism-like URL navigation as well. That's awesome. That's super cool. Yeah, so yeah, let's make our way through here a little bit, and then if we have some time, I'll see if I can get that popped open, because that sounds cool. But you know what else is cool? All of this. I'm like I said, kind of freaking out here a little bit. So we've got colors, so Comet color. Okay, cool. So I'll just say, like, if I wanted this to be, we do have fuchsia, my favorite. Yeah, and that updates out there. Wow. Okay, cool. And shadows. This is awesome. This is probably gonna make everybody nuts here. I'm gonna start changing formatting to mic formatting. Oh. Right, doesn't that feels better? Let's see here. What else can we do? Add animation. Okay. I could, like, just chain that in. See, it also does property injection for anything that is state of T or has the state attribute but is null. Interesting. That's cool. So anything, this is really cool. So let's see. Let me let's take a look through here and see what we could do. So I think Dan kind of alluded to this a little bit, and it sort of looks like that's the case here. So we've got, it appears, so let me just verify this. So if I take a look at text, It looks like this is kind of like our label. And the constructor for this is pretty basic. So we could either assign a func to set the string. Okay, so that's like probably helpful when you need to do stuff dynamically, where we're pulling in here our current state. And then you could probably also just like statically set it, I'm guessing. Or you could set it to a binding. Okay. So that probably makes sense in both cases there. So, and then this is just more for my interest. I'm just going to make well, you know what, actually, here. There's probably a better way we could do this since we've got the source code. Let's go take a look at text and see what's all in it. So we've got a value property that we could assign to, which is what, yeah, that's what our constructor's doing for us as well. And then a toString? Whoa. Okay. What does view have in it then? So we have this so there's a view. Okay, so this is like our, again, similar to Xamarin.Forms. It's kind of like our root view here. We've got gestures that we could slap on, IDs, a tag. Okay, some internal stuff, a parent. Okay, so we get our parent if we've got one. And then some other stuff. Okay, so accessibility ID, cool. That's awesome. A view handler. So I think this again was this is probably our native piece. If I remember right, we saw those handlers out there seem to be our native piece from before. So update from old view. Okay. All right, so we just have a bunch of other get renderer view. It's like a bunch of stuff here. Okay. Interesting. So like text is pretty basic. Let's take a look. There's another control that we're using out here, which is that button. Let's take a look at the button. Huh. Wow. Okay. This is also very lightweight. Interesting. So it's just an on click. Just an action to go do on click. Interesting. Take a look at the chat. String interpolation is why Clancy added the iNotify property read. Okay. So that way. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Okay. Right. So we can, so the iNotify property read lets us know when things get updated there. Thanks there, Dillbot9000 for the follow. Steve Rule appreciates it. Let's see here. Sorry, yeah, I'm like, my mind's a little bit blown here, y'all, so I apologize. This is pretty neat. So all these so we have all these extension methods, and these must just work for views then. I like that. Okay, so let's just take, like, right. So if I wanted to do a shadow, is that just on a view? Yeah, awesome. I really like that. So now, because like, one of the things that you have that is kind of a pain in the ass on forms, to be honest, is, you know, like if you want to do something with a shadow, you either have to use a control that has a shadow on it, like a frame or something like that, or you end up having to write a renderer or an effect or something like that to slap it on there. And then I guess we'll have to see how this goes here, because I'm not sure how everything's getting painted out, but even if you do like the effect, for example, you end up with a control that has its own bounding box on the screen. So, you know, like if the box is like this big and you want to draw a shadow all the way out here, like outside of that box, that could become problematic. So I wonder if I just draw like we're just going to find out right now. I'm going to draw a big ass shadow. and I want it to go like underneath everything or go. So I guess this is, visually, I'm guessing that this is, if we were to look at like a Z index, I'm guessing that button is above text. So let's find out here. So we're going to do, again, we always go fuchsia. And make this like 30. I don't know what these numbers are yet. I'm just typing in stuff. 20, we'll do like negative. I want this to go. Yeah, check that out. Cool. This is awesome. Okay. So you can see like it I wonder if I just do something like egregious, like, yeah, like I could put the shadow all the way over here. All right, that is super cool. That tighten it up? Yeah. So this must be radius, X and Y, or what type is. Shadow type. Set environment. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'll have to figure out what that is. I'm not sure what that one is quite yet. We'll see if we can find an example or if I could dig something up there, but that's cool. I like that. What else can we do here? Suppose I've missed you. So that's cool. I always like disposal. It's one thing that I wish is like, again, a little better maybe in Forms is more granular disposal. You know, if you go down to the renderer level, you can manage it all that way too. But fill horizontal, cool. So if I do this, so I wonder if, so I've got a height up there. Sweet. So that's neat. So I've got a frame that just has the height. It appears that it just has the height assigned to it. Yeah, that's the case. All right, so here's a test now. So now I'm going to do, or which one is it? It's a width first. And we'll do 30 here. Okay, so that overrides that. Okay, but maybe if there's no width provided, it will, right, so you could do like that. This is awesome. I realize this is probably still in like demo early on phase, but this is pretty exciting stuff here. So line break mode. So that's cool too. So line break mode, I know, I don't think I saw on a button, but I wonder how it must have, so we'll say, we'll do character wrap, right? So line break mode, again, another extension, and I wonder how it knows, so it just takes it on a view. Set environment, and I suppose it's probably up to the control itself to say whether or not maybe the set environment does something where it takes the control itself and says like, hey, can you actually, you know, maybe there's like a dictionary of values in there or something like that, it would appear. Or something along those lines. Yeah, so maybe this is, yeah, so this is mode. I wonder if there's just like a dictionary of strings that it picks up on, and then it, when it goes to repaint itself or something, it checks that out and uses that to do its drawing. But I like the, I like this idea of extension methods to some extent here, because that means that, I assume that means that like me, Mike, if I want to go and just cook up something silly, I could make my own extension method and then we could just slap it right in line here, which that's pretty cool. All right. So far, this is all pretty neat. We haven't even made it off the first page. So let's take a look at some other stuff. Skia controls sample. Sweet. Yeah, so we got a little slider control here. And looks like some label. Oh, a button control. Oh, oh. like a button control. Got our inkwell animation on it. I like that. And our slider control. I like that too. Let's see how that's happening. Skia control sample. It's probably this one. SK text, SK button, SK slider. Nice. SK slider is a slider. This is not what I expected to see in here. So let's see. We've got our binding value, right? So, okay, so that's where we assign our value. We set our min and our max and then our step value. And then what to do when the value changes. Okay. And we've got a base class here of slider. And I wonder how this is doing the drawing then. So, multicast action. I don't know that I've ever multicast action. Okay, that's a internal thing here. Cool. Won't dive into that yet. Where is the drawing? This is where. Yeah. So Comet Skia, so they're going to have SK slider out here. Yep. I'm guessing that's probably... Draw track, draw progress, draw thumb. Okay. So this is where they're doing all their drawing stuff. Weird. So I wonder if I could just like, if I'm thinking from my like Skia workflow. This is like a Skia abstract control handler. So what does this give us here? Draw mapper, another mapper. Okay. Yep, we'll go and get our size out here, so that makes sense. Our draw, so it always clears. Clears, does a save. Okay. Yeah, do any of our drawing out here and then restore back out. Path for bounds. Okay, yeah, okay. So Skia draw layer. So draw layer. So it loops through all the internal layers. So again, if we think, I apologize, I'm doing a lot of hemming and hawing here because this is all new to me as well. But again, if we kind of talk about this, so just to go over what this draw method I think is doing, I can't confirm this quite yet. But again, if you've watched any of the other videos that I've done the last few weeks here, we spent a lot of time in Skia land, and you really could think of like Skia drawing is similar to drawing on a real canvas or painting on a real canvas. So if we go with Bob Ross terms, we're going to hit it up with our titanium white right here. And we're going to clear off the canvas. We're just going to reset it back to nothing. Right? We're going to do a canvas save, which is basically just going to get the canvas state so that if we apply any kind of transformations to the canvas and stuff like that, like if we're going to move it around or like apply, like I said, like any kind of 3D transformations or things like that, later on we could restore it back to where it had started originally. So we're just going to save that state out here. And we'll use that sometimes because what we'll do is we'll move the canvas around to draw in a different location on the canvas, but then we want to scoot it back like where we started off with. It looks like we get some info for where we're doing the drawing. So this is interesting. This layers here. So let's take a look at this for a minute. So layer drawing order. So it looks like there is, like we could set some drawing order to this thing, and I'm guessing that's what it was doing out here. I'm guessing that this is what this is doing out here, because it's going to draw the track, draw the progress, and then draw the thumb. Those are the order. That's the order that I would imagine. Track, progress, thumb, text. Yeah, so that is what I would imagine. And then I think this has like a method out here for us to go do that work for each one. Okay, so I get that. So instead of just drawing, so kind of going back to, okay, so I think I understand what's going on there now. So going back to the invalidation stuff, well, I wonder if this is what this is doing. So perhaps, so whenever you, so again, if we go back to like drawing a canvas, depending on what you're doing, sometimes you don't need to redraw the whole canvas. You just need to redraw on a certain spot of it. So by setting up layers out here, and if we look at like how we've got our slider control, we've got our first pass. If we think of the first pass of what it's going to do here, is it's going to draw kind of the underlaid color. So that's going to be our track. I think that was, I think, referred to as the track property, which in this case is like this lighter teal color. Then it's going to draw the progress, which is going to be this more bold color on top of it. And then finally, it's going to draw the thumb grabber for where we're going to grab it and move it. And so we've got those, he's got those split into layers because I wonder if it could do something. It looks like it's always doing a pass on all layers, which also makes sense. It's fine. It's way easier to like conceptualize that stuff if you draw it in layers. But I wonder if that's what that's doing here, so that I wonder if maybe in the future I'll be able to specify like just redraw a specific layer or something like that. That'd be pretty cool. And then we could apply some clipping. So, okay, so then this next piece here is for some clipping. So like if we want to cut this thing down so that it doesn't actually render out the full controller, we could clip it to a certain size on the screen. I'm guessing that's what we're doing out here. And then we restore it. Okay, cool. I like all of that stuff. Again, this looks a little bit similar to some of the things that we do out here in Aurora. So I like the fact that that already looks familiar. You could tell that this is me doing this because I got 8 million tabs open. It's like my signature move. Everybody always yells at me for doing that. Okay, so one other thing I didn't look at here with this slider is touch handling. So we do have, so like I would assume that there's probably some kind of a rectangle that's being recorded for this track right here. And then in the slider handler, I would imagine that it's looking for me touching this handler point. So let's see, let's find references for this one. No, so it's just my, oh, does it move it? I see, okay. So then when it okay, yep, so that makes sense. So then this is, again, this is very, very similar to what I do out here in Skia. So, or in Aurora, excuse me. I like where we're going with all of this. This is it's a good Saturday for Dad. So let's take a look here. So we're setting the touch target rectangle, right? So as it moves this, it's constantly just going to re-update that rectangle and then reevaluate it to see whether we're touching in there when we touch down on there, where we're touching. So that's very similar to what, because you kind of need to draw it on the screen before you reassign the rectangle. Here, we're going to try this. This actually would be kind of neat. So I wonder if I could, I wonder how deep the IntelliSense goes. So if I come down here, if this works on this level, stream over, I'm gonna freak out. So let's see if I can do canvas, draw, rect, and then I've got, and yeah. So I'm gonna try, I'm gonna try to type is what I'm gonna do first. SK Paint. I don't have high confidence that this will work, but if it does, like I said. So what I'm gonna try to do here is draw a rectangle underneath the thumb rectangle, and that'll show us like our actual touch point where you can really touch in to get this thing to work, right? So we'll just say like touch paint. I know we're not gonna like use this. I'm not gonna commit this or nothing, but like developer OCD has me doing this. Okay, so touch paint, and then I'm gonna say this is not a SK rect. It's not an SK rect. Thumb rect, center. All right, we'll just change that to an SK rect in a moment. And we'll say touch paint dot color equals SK colors dot, what's something that would stand out on this? I think we know where I'm going. And we'll say new. I wonder if I could do, actually we'll do touch to SK, yeah. Okay. That's awesome. So I'm all the way down deep in the weeds here. This has to be, where is this slider handler exist? Okay, no, so this is still, so this isn't iOS level yet, but this is still in some shared handler, and I was able to draw, so you can see like this, what I wanted to draw out here is you can see like this whole, even though it's only rendering out this little thing, you could touch anywhere in this fuchsia box and you can get moving around on there. That's awesome. That makes my life 1 zillion times better as like a controls writer and maintainer. I absolutely love that. 10 out of 10. Where'd I write that now? There we are. That's cool. All right, let me take a look out here over in the chat. Dan's got 4 browser windows open because they have too many tabs. I have like a tool that I install in Chrome. I think it's called Too Many Tabs, that will, like, if you don't touch a tab for a certain period of time, it'll shut it down so that it doesn't eat up all your memory. I had to get the MacBook Pro with 32 gigs of RAM just so that I could run Chrome. I have a tab hoarding problem. So this is actually, wow. I usually don't get pretty excited about stuff, but this is actually pretty awesome. So we're changing framework code here. So it's not, here's why this is cool, right? So, if you think of like, and I might be over my skis on this one, so probably Dan will yell at me if I'm wrong. But like with XAML hot reload, it's only picking up changes in your XAML. So it's only picking up like UI changes out there and re-rendering that stuff. I couldn't go out to like a core project, make changes to that core project and have it replicate all the way back out to my UI. Whereas here I've got this totally separate project. So this is Comet.skia, you know, and my actual like app that I'm running out here is this Comet samples, but I'm out here in Comet.skia and I'm messing around with like my base control here and I'm getting it replicated. I'm getting those changes replicated all the way back out to my UI here. This is Clancy showing up. Yeah, this is game changing. This is awesome. Like, I am very excited about all of this. I have so many questions that I will need answers to. But we're okay for now. Okay, so let's keep on going back here. There's going to be something that's going to be a showstopper and like, Mike, you can't use this. But we'll find out. So where were we at here? Skia controls example. So that was our slider. Let's take a look at our button. So if we follow this path here, I probably just want to go to find references. And right, then we'll have this button handler out here. So you know what, actually, what I'm going to do really quick. I want to see how far down the rabbit hole we could actually go with making changes. So we did a change. I want to see if I can go to the platform level and make a change now. So I've got this out here, which is, it's probably a Skia control handler, which I'm guessing is the root for all these. Maybe not Skia view handler is the root for all these. And, or no, maybe not. Skia view, iOS Skia view. We are definitely going down the rabbit hole. Let's see. This has to be the one. So now, yes, this is doing our other drawing. So now if I come and do something real dumb here, like canvas.draw color, and I tell it to do skcolor dot Gainsborough. Does that pick up? No. Okay, so that's the limitation. So we've gone actually down to the, maybe if I make it, I have to be wrong about this. Not pink. It's like fuchsia, but better. Let's see. No. Okay. So that is our limitation. So I can't actually drop down to the platform level and make changes to the paint surface, which is okay. Like this is a pretty extreme use case, but I can actually stay out on the canvas in shared code and I can get all those changes and replicate that out. Awesome. Okay. This is very cool. So let's take a look. Let's just keep on drilling through. Maybe we'll just take a look at a bunch of these without me freaking out and looking at all of them for a whole bunch of time. So we've got some material design controls. And it looks like those were brought over. Again, if we took a look at this before. So the Microsoft team has a material components, which I think is just like I think it's a wrapper for a project that the Google team had done, if I remember right. So we have these material components. So I think these are just like bindings libraries. Yeah, this looks like these are just bindings libraries for some project. I think it's Google had put these out there. And so it's just bindings for those controls. So that's cool that you could pull in like third-party controls. And I think, again, like if I'm I'm thinking as somebody who's got a control library that I maintain, this is probably where I could have like an Aurora button and tell it that, you know, this thing is a regular button, you know, that it, I'm still not sure 100% about this, if this like says that it replaces it, or can be used like one of these things. I think it's kind of like that, to go do some work out there. So that's pretty cool. I really like all this stuff that I'm seeing so far. Okay, so we've got our material controls. Let's see. Generate an audit report. All right, so we've got like a list view control. Interesting. I wonder how the list view control is being done, if it's a table view or some kind of collection view, or I wonder if it's even just being drawn straight up by itself. So we've got our list view control out here, which is of type list view. Okay, so it looks like, okay, so I'm guessing current views is probably some internal caching. So for anybody who's probably done some mobile development in the past, so one of the issues that you have with a list view is you're always fighting performance and interaction and customizability, right? So if all of these cells over in our list view here were different heights, it has to constantly recalculate the size of those and figure out everything that it wants to do out there. And so that comes at a cost, but also you only want to keep, like, I might have a backing list that has like 1 million items in it, and maybe I only want to show however many items we have on the screen plus a few additional in memory out there. So, you know, so as I scroll, I could just sort of requeue one or pop one off the stack for reuse. So I'm guessing that's what current views is doing out there, is kind of doing some, yeah, I feel like this is doing some caching, maybe not non-platform specific caching. I'm just gonna really quick, for my own interest here, Comets. Where is the platforms and handlers? And the list view handler is Comet UI table view. Okay, so it is some kind of table view underneath the sheets doing all this kind of cool stuff. Cool, that's good enough. Good to know. Is there some kind of collection view? I wonder. If we have, let's take a look at the controls. So we've got a list view, modal and navigation. Also interested about that. Like, are we, all right. I keep on wanting to just drill. You guys can take a step into my head. What's going on here? So I always just kind of end up finding my way at the bottom of a bunch of stuff here. So I wonder how the modals are being done. Like if that's being done in a native modal way or if it's being handled by something else. Because probably, to be honest with you, I think I would be cooler with it being handled by something else, because that way maybe it's a little bit more flexible out there. All right, so we've got our vertical stack, so it's VStack. Okay, so that's kind of like, a sectioned list view. Okay, so we got a list view with some headers. A virtual sectioned list view. Interesting. So I wonder if this is doing some virtualization underneath the sheets to go and call, maybe to fetch more or do something like that. Not sure what that one's doing. A binding sample, so we'll have our I wonder, let's take a look at the binding sample here for a quick minute. Platforms, let's get rid of that. Let's hide that away. Okay, so can edit in text. There's our binding object. We assign our state with some defaults out here. Okay. Right. So here, I haven't done, oh, no. This is something that you used to be able to do in Visual Studio that you can't really do anymore. You used to be able to like put breakpoints in side of code like this. Like you'd be able to write this big stack of code and just put a breakpoint right here, and it used to do it, but we've lost that. But probably, so yeah, so that's, okay, so this is kind of what I expected to have happen here. So every time I do an update, it's constantly recalling out here to build. Or to probably calling out to the body just to tell it to go redo its thing. Maybe not build per se, but it's calling out to the body to tell it to go repaint itself. Okay, I get that. That's cool. And that way, and that's kind of neat too, because then you can see like, it's sort of this like one-way pump of data, right? So you kind of get like, hey, something happened, nebulous out somewhere else, and then pump in, you know, constantly just pump data back into here. So we can do things like can edit. And I assume that there's some amount of intelligence around this stuff to say there's that like property dictionary that's out there. And if I were to guess, it probably is maintaining like the current state of the properties, and then it's just going to probably find like a diff of stuff that's changed and then just try to redo the things that have changed, or maybe update the controls that have changed. Or maybe it repaints the whole thing. I don't know. Maybe it's doing that as well. So that's cool. So you could actually use this to like toggle back and forth. Can edit, right? So it's just looking at the current state. Find that stuff back here. And getting that going. So Dan's confirming, yeah. So it sounds like there is a diffing process. And that makes sense. That's kind of what I'd expect. Because if you had to redraw the whole thing over again or redo the whole thing, performance wouldn't be great. I mean, I guess if you did it all in SkiaLand, you could probably make it okay. But with the mixture of native controls and custom painted controls, it's that invalidation cycle could become pretty hefty. So that's probably a good thing that it's not doing that. I wonder if that also takes, again, probably not going to happen today as part of our stream, but you know, one of the other big things that we have that is like a performance killer on the form side is layout invalidation. So for example, like if you change the, you know, if you have like some stack layouts and like a stack layout within a stack layout, and then inside one of those stack layouts, you have a label and you change the text on the label, it can cause like this whole bubbling effect to happen to push layout change notifications like all the way up to the root and make everything else want to go repaint itself, which can cause some like potential slowness or can lead to some slow layout stuff. So I wonder if this is smart enough to know, or how this handles some of that layout invalidation, because this would be cool if there was like a diff process and it knew that, hey, the layout didn't change over the run, you know, like maybe some text change or something like that, but the actual control sizing didn't change. If that diff process takes that into account, it'd be really neat. All right, so we looked at that one. Credit card. Ooh. This is my actual credit card number. You can go on to Amazon and buy me some cool stuff. This is cool though. I really like the way that looks at 23. Right, yeah, some demo stuff. Let's take a look at that one really quick. I'm into that. So I wonder if this is I wonder if there's just like a box view or some kind of like a shape drawable that's getting called here, or if that is something more robust than that. Okay, so we've got rows and columns. Yeah, okay. So this is kind of what I thought it would be. So we've got like this shape view here, right? And I don't know. Let me just go see where all these are defined. So this one's a rounded rectangle. There's probably an ellipse, a path. Okay, capsule. We'll do a capsule for all of our Akira fans out there. Wait, is capsule? It's Capsule Corp from. That's something that I watch with my kids. That's Dragon Ball. There we go. There's our capsule. Capsule Corp. Is that right? We don't need to be talking about Dragon Ball. My kids have been really into that stuff, so that's one the world I've been living in here a little bit. I like that though. This is cool. So that's really easy. And this is something that's super helpful. I should probably put something like this in Aurora. I always think about this all the time, but I just haven't. We kind of have some rudimentary support for it, but not like this. You find yourself like the other day, I found myself needing to draw a circle in a UI for a client. And so I ended up just drawing a box view and then setting the radius, like the corner radius on it to be half the length of the like the height and the width, right? So that kind of sucks. And you find yourself so many times just needing to do something similar like this shape view. I think this is a really cool idea. Rounded rectangle. And 4F. Yeah, and this is so cool. You know, so many times, like I find myself, if I'm writing code, or especially if I'm like building a new control for a UI, you kind of have to like dial it in. And so I'll be sitting out here and I'll grab my zoomer and be like, all right, well, no, I don't want it to be 4F. I need it to be 8F. Okay, that looks good. Or 16F. Yeah, that seems about right. You know, you kind of have to play around with this. So having this at the ready is pretty awesome. All right, so we've got this here. So we've got a grid with rows and columns. Can you do this like this, or this probably won't work, right? Yeah, because we got different objects. So it looks like we've got rows of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then this one's probably just take up the remaining space. So I wonder if you could do, let's see, that one's 1 star. What if I do, I think like with my Xamarin.Forms hit, 2 star? No? I don't think that's right. But again, we're just learning. I know some people won't like this, but this method chaining, this like Fluent style is right up my alley. It's like I feel like somebody listened to me complain for once. Feels good. Cool. Yes, this is all neat. So I really do like this. So this is like that demo. We have a couple different credit card demos. I'm guessing this is probably just him working something out here. Gonna spend a bunch of time on that. What else do we have? Animated Skia example. Cool. All right. Okay. We get this little fade animation here. I must know how it works. Animated. There's an animation. Skia button sample. Okay. Ah. Begin the sequence. Okay, so let's take a look. Begin animated sequence. So we start this one. And then you just start chaining these bad boys, and then you tell it to end the sequence. Whoa. So what does this return here? So, okay. Right, so I have... I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going to do this. This is me. And, so end animation. Begin. Everyone's pop that one out so I could use that as like a container. Interesting. So begin animation sequence must give me some kind of token maybe back out. Yeah, so I get like an animation sequence. And then I'm guessing that the other one, so then we give it like the steps of the animation. And then at the end, this must be some kind of like commit. Yeah, so like I go and add this. Now at this point in time, go and add this to your UI. I like that. You probably can't do something like at the end of the sequence. I mean, I suppose you probably put this in the animation, but could you do well, okay, so I still do have these available, so I wonder if the end animation sequence just comes back with, okay. Cool, so I was going to say, like, I wonder if I could change, so we're going to do this. At the end of, what do I do, like height, frame? I think I had a, so at the end of the animation, I'm going to set the height equal to 80. How does that work? Does that happen before? I feel like I saw it pop off there like right away. Too many animation steps. Just keep the one with fuchsia. Oh, I guess we have to keep two. In the right spot? No, this has to be the right spot. Height. That's mad tall. Below should go from to beige to fuchsia and back. I don't know, let's try it with the button here. Maybe there's just something up with that particular control. So again, yeah, okay. So that actually, I think this even, his example that he has here confirms, I think, even what I wanted to do. And I know I'm probably driving people nuts with my formatting, but we're all just gonna have to live with it. Vertical, I find it a lot easier just to read stuff vertically than put it all horizontally. I don't know. Especially when you start doing this like fluent method chaining like this, it just, I feel like it's really easy just to read straight up and down. I'm gonna change this. So let's change this to be this animation block kind of up here. I'm just gonna grab this whole thing actually, because why not? That's text color. Right, so I need this to be, that's not really text, it's like, it's so if I set, so this is kind of what I'm wondering. So if I set the frame up above, and then I set it down below, I'm guessing this order is probably arbitrary. Yeah, right. So kind of what I was trying to figure out here is, so if I set a frame up above here, and then I override it down below here, it's probably just going to pick up whichever one was the last one to be applied, right? So yeah, so we can see here, 250, and it's just ignoring what I set up above. Okay, I wasn't sure if it would do the animation sequence and then supply it afterwards, but I'd probably, if I wanted to make those frame adjustments, I'd probably want to make those inside of here, which makes sense. That's cool. That makes sense. Neat. Now, can I have a? It's probably some kind of way I could like trigger an animation too, but we'll get into that. I probably want to see that later on. Animated Skia sample, tab view. Oh, tab controller. Here we go, some sort of insane diff. Kind of like goofy scroll view. Again, when you're making a UI control and stuff like this, you end up with a bunch of these pages that are probably literal nonsense to everybody else, but I appreciate that. Some secure fields, stepper fields, text fields, finger paint, sweet. Yes. Finger paint with a scroll view. Okay. Orange. I'll just changes all of it to here. Ah, cool. I like that. Don Malton. All right, cool. Yeah, that's cool. Everybody loves gradients, so that's cool too. Swift UI. I wonder if this is. So I think Swift UI, Flutter both use that MVU. So I wonder if this is just kind of porting. He's got some stuff that's basically just like porting some sample stuff over there. The David samples. Everybody's favorite. Dan asks gradients, isn't that half of Aurora? It's like 2/3 of Aurora. You could actually like apply a gradient to anything in it. At the end of the day, I think I wrote like an overlay that you could draw gradients on whatever you want to draw on. People love them. Every time we talk to our designers, all the designers are like, hey, we get a subtle gradient on this thing. Cool. So yeah, so then too, like, you know, so Here's another thing that I think is pretty interesting about this. So we're not, if we compare this to like a Flutter, Flutter is by and large, I know this isn't 100% the case, but like Flutter is by and large going to be a big Skia canvas where you could just kind of draw and do whatever you want to go do on it. And I know, at least at first, and it's probably not the case anymore, people have probably like built this and made it really nice. But like including things like a web view or a map view natively into Flutter, I know was kind of difficult because it really just didn't like expose that type of stuff. This is probably just my lack of knowledge, quite honestly, on this now. I have to imagine that that's like a no-brainer or whatever, but at least having it here now, at least having this here with this Comet example and knowing that we could just kind of slap in whatever native UI controls that we need to get in there, that seems pretty powerful. Now, let's put this to the test really quick though. So Swift UI tutorial 5B. Let me see if I can find that. Swift UI tutorial section 5B native. We're going to put this to the test because I want to see how well I can't find it, so it's just fine. Right, so now UI view representable. Whoa, is this over? Oh, this is out in our app delegate. Interesting. Okay, so this is like straight up out here. So with my stack, so okay, let's give this a shot. Let's see what we could do here. I wonder. Uh-oh, we've already hit. We already hit an issue. I'm guessing this probably just doesn't let me do this crap. So can I drop down here? I'm guessing I probably can't drop down here. 5B native. Yeah, it doesn't look like it lets me get in and make. Again, like we saw this earlier. So very cool that I could come in to here, and I'm sure that there's probably a way that we could just like wrap up and make sort of like in Forms, how we could just draw a, we've got like a map view. I'm sure that this could be wrapped up generically to work this way, but we also can just come down here. I really dig the fact that if I wanted to do something in like a real native manner, it looks like I could just wrap that control here straight up. And yeah, I've got like a creator. So here's how I like draw my view. And then an update for my view. So if I get data updates, what should I go do out there? That's pretty simplistic. That's for anybody here who has ever done a custom renderer or had to do like a custom control, this should look a heck of a lot more simple, right? Because I'm guessing I could probably do something too, like, right? Like I could probably expose this if I made this some kind of a, I put this around some kind of generic wrapper. I could probably make some like simple map view and then implement that on all the platforms. Would be my guess. Like this UI representable probably has a base class of something that is like view representable, and this one is just a view. Yeah. So like I could probably hide this away somehow and make this work in a way that I could represent it in my shared code location, but still have the implementation out there on native. Wow, okay. I really like that as well. So I guess that's most of the stuff. I guess let's see if we can make our own. Go do some of our own things. So. Let's not save anything stupid that I was doing out here. So we're gonna push this to the limit. So let's go see. We have our main page. So our main page again, we just do a new main page and we view controller it. So there's not a lot of like, this is kind of neat. I mean, there's not a whole ton of ceremony around getting this stuff up and running, you know? We've got a couple of initializers out here. I'm going to do this really quick because Android startup is always bad. And again, this doesn't seem like it has a bunch of ceremony around it. It's not having to do a whole ton of loading and creation. So I wonder if we could see what the startup times out here on Android look like. Because that's pretty groovy. Like that's quick. Yeah, we go straight out to this main page here. Huh. This is a Comet activity and I set my page. Okay, I like that. I'm guessing Comet activity probably has stuff out here to know how to do, yeah, some loading and context setting. Because yeah, half the part, you know, some of the stuff with forms is there is just a lot of heavy like lifting that's happening out there, getting stuff set up, and this will probably have some amount of that as well. Because this is, yeah, you see how we just we're started up here, we're sitting at a white screen, loading, just waiting for stuff to load. Let's give it another run just to see. Part of that time is probably bad because I'm streaming and I've got all this other crap open on here. But maybe not. Yeah, so it still takes a little bit of time to get up and load there. And maybe that part of that is just because I'm debugging. It looked like it was just chunking out a bunch of debug statements and stuff like that up here. That's probably hard to read on the stream, but it's just kicking out a bunch of debug statements. So maybe there's just some stuff going on that this would be a lot faster once we actually get loaded up on a real device, not in debug mode. Go take a look at that finger paint. 10 out of 10. Ship it. Cool. Okay. Let's like I said, let's go back to here and let's see if we could port something over to Comet. All right, so come out to here. So we have I'm gonna see how far I can push this. Just gonna run this here really quick. And then we're going to come out to, I don't know, a Skia page, I suppose. And finger painting is probably maybe this button sample is a good place for me to start off with here. So we have SK text. And what control do I want to try to port? Let's do like a simple checkbox. Maybe that's a good place to start. So SK text is really a text. And text is like a first-class citizen in Comet, but it's all really just a view. Okay. So which one was this one? This is, we'll actually do it on this one. So we'll work on this page. Okay. So I'm going to make a new, just going to make it right here because it'll be easier just to do it right here, right? We'll call this checkbox. And this could be, can this be a Skia? Skia view? And let's just get our bearing set here. So I wonder, so also public, have to give it anything like it's a base class. That property mapper, but I don't know what I'm doing with that yet. So we're gonna avoid the Noid for a quick minute. And we'll just say something stupid like canvas.paint, draw paint, draw. So nothing there. All right, we're in business. Okay, so I've got my checkbox. And then start interaction. Okay, so let's get this is cool. It's like very quick to get started with this. So we're gonna say we could probably make this a lot better, but we'll say like bar board using so I wonder so so there is just like a border that I could apply to things. All right. So this has like a border built into it, but I wonder if I've got like my own border. What I tell it to do. We'll draw it first, and then let's just draw it first, and then we'll figure out how to make it fancy. Okay, so let's see here. We're gonna have, I'm guessing I'll probably end up doing it like in the constructor, huh? Okay, anyway, let's get back to this. So we're gonna draw a border, and we need to find our shortest equals math.min of So we're going to draw this thing always as a square, and we'll just make sure that we change the size that the width should be longer. So this should be to the height. And we'll say, so we got our shortest width here, it's our width and our height, and then we're going to say that we're going to be a draw. So our draw rectangle is going to be a new SKRect, and to figure out our left, we're going to say mid. Oh. This isn't an SKRect. This is a rectangle F. Okay, that's all right. So left dot, it does have a center. That probably comes at a cost. We'll just do that one time. Raw center dot x minus right, because we're just going to scoot this thing back to the left. So we found the middle location, then we're going to say half shortest length, and our top. So this whole thing is going to like look, basically we're just going to find the center points and then just keep on adjusting around them. So draw center Y, and then yes, probably this one plus that. Y plus that one, right? Because we're just going to say, here's like our center point. So like our draw center is probably going to be the center of our, this rectangle that it wants us to draw on. And I'm guessing, I don't know, I'd probably have to do some more investigation, but I'm guessing right now it's kind of like my whole surface area. I'm just guessing it's the whole area that I've got for my canvas available to me. So now we need to set up our paint. And we'll just do this with a default color. So we'll say, we'll just call it paint, because we'll probably end up reusing this for a few things. The paint objects come at a cost, so you really don't want to make them all over the place. The smarter thing to do even would be to hold on to it in memory and not constantly create it and dump it. Maybe dump it as part of a dispose, which I wonder if I have dispose available to me. I do. I like that quite a bit. The disposal helps us clean up after, especially when you're doing Skia stuff. Like if you just have a bunch of things hanging around, just gives us a nice way to clean all that stuff up. So I do like that. Okay. Okay, so color equals skcolor dot medium purple, and we'll do canvas.draw rect, and I'll tell it to draw my draw rect and my paint. Oh, there we go. Right, and so we're in business on that. So we could draw a rectangle here. We've got a rectangle roughly where we want it to be. If I wanted to, then I could do something like, so if I wanted to have a border around it, this is pretty straightforward to do. So implicitly, so this is paint.style. The style by default is going to be fill. But what I could do is I could just come down here. This is actually kind of neat. My same paint object, I could say paint.style equals stroke. So now it's going to do like an external stroke color, and I would say something like paint.color equals, what would stand out against that? Orange, like some kind of orangey color. And that's really thin, so we would say paint.stroke width equals 8F. And it's kind of goopy looking, because we probably want to inset. The way that it's going to draw the stroke is like on the outside line, so it's going to draw like 4 of those pixels down and 4 of those pixels up. Ain't. I gotta do not the mitering. I think I'd probably have to do like an inset. So this would probably be, we're just gonna have something up here. We'll just bar. And I'll just move this. Right, that kind of adjusts it for us. So that's a little bit nicer now. So now I could adjust that stroke width, and now we stay within our area out here. I also need to draw a check. So let's just draw something simple. Let me see if I've got like, let's see what we could do here. So we'll take our draw rect dot. Can I do an anti-inflate? So I'm gonna anti-inflate this by negative . End up having to get like a bunch of these things. Var. So we get the half stroke width here. So we're going to inflate this by negative. You guys probably aren't floats now, are you? No, you're float. What do you need? Hey, thanks, Romero, for following here. So you're enjoying us cooking up some Skia stuff out here now in the what's turning out to be the wonderful world of Comet. I'm like having a great time over here, to be perfectly honest. Rect inflate. We're drawing. If you're just joining, just to recap here, we are. How am I doing wrong? Float X. Half stroke width. Half stroke. Oh. Duh. There we go. half stroke width is an extension method anyway. Oh no, it's not. Okay. We are drawing a checkbox control here for Comet now. So we just did a whole bunch of run through here to learn about this stuff. Just drawing a checkbox control now and kind of doing it in real time, which is blowing my mind entirely. You know, I set this to half stroke width, but I think I'm going to do it because we kind of want to have some like padding in there too. So we're just going to see how this looks for now, and then my check rect, and we'll do we'll change the paint on this one for a second. So paint.style. And then we will change the color here. Paint. Actually, no, we'll keep the same color. That's fine. I got a question out here. Did I ever give continuous a run? Yeah, for sure. So continuous, if you're not familiar with it, it's something that Frank Krueger, cooked up a few years back, where it kind of did this same kind of, like real-time inspection of controls and things like that to allow us to change code and let it reload on the fly. It's pretty awesome. It's actually like really awesome. Ryan Davis has been doing some stuff with it recently. And let me see. Let's see. Oh, I spelled Frank's name wrong. Apologize, Frank. He's got the E. There's a German. Continuous out here. I'll grab a link for this really quick too. Is it out there for anybody who's interested? So continuous, been a little bit of work going on with it recently. I can't remember if it's out here or if it's on Ryan Davis's. Is that him? That's him. I think he's doing some work out here on it. So if you're like interested in getting it up and running. So the cool thing about continuous is this allows you to go in and do like just with like a regular Xamarin project without it being in Comet and stuff like that. If you're in, I think it maybe only works in Visual Studio for the Mac. You could go in and just do like hot code reloading with this right out of the box. So one of our guys uses it all the time. I've kind of bopped in and out of it a bunch of times using it. For me, the big thing has just been it doesn't work with reactive extension stuff, which is like, this is a me problem. Don't get me wrong. But it didn't offer me a bunch of stuff. But one of our guys does a lot of UI layout and code and stuff like that. So he finds it to be super helpful for him. So give that a shot. Yeah, I mean it's just like regular code hot reload, while running for regular old Xamarin stuff, which is pretty awesome. I might just be using continuous here to build out Aurora controls because this has been pretty cool. And most of my work that I'm doing is out here anyway. So where was I at here? So I did change my paint style. I got my check rect. We're going to try to draw that. Canvas. Check rect. And my paint. Uh-oh. This is too big. It's too big. All right, so my check rec, can I wonder what happens here. I haven't tried this yet. Like breakpoint on this? No. But I'm guessing I could say happens now. No, it's not going. Did I? I probably broke something. Let's make sure we're still like running. No, we're still good there. Did that kick out here? Interesting. So I did put that out here, this diagnostics right line. View, building. Yeah, I don't see it kicking that out on there. I don't know if I could change this font size either, so I apologize. It's probably pretty small. Oh. Go back to normal. There we go. Okay, that's okay though. This is still a massive time saver. If I inflate this, I mean, whatever, I could just cheese this, so new. We'll say, so my X and Y, this will be my same draw center. Not so angrily. How can I do this? Can I do Y? And my width. So now my width will probably be, so it's the same kind of idea here. So I'm going to say it's my shortest length is that minus my stroke width. Because we'll be inset by half. Both of those, and then we'll just see where we go from here. Let's get something cooked. Might not be enough. Ah, okay. So it's taking this as my starting point and then drawing around that. So that's cool. Okay, that's fine. So I've got to take now half of my shortest length. And this will be also the same thing here. Cool. There we go. So there's our. So I think my sizing's a little off here still. That's okay. We could fix it up later. I don't know that we're making this for Windows Phone, so probably don't want it to be square, but long live UWP, right? We probably need to have some sort of state management out here, I guess. So, let's take a look at how they're doing it for. this slider. Let's see here. Find references. Skia style. Right, I got to go to that slider handler. All right, so I want to see how he's maintaining state for that one. So we want to know like when. Oh, okay. So he's just got like a is tracking. Okay, so we'll just do. Again, we're just going to do this really simply here. We're going to have. Right, so then if is checked is true, then we'll actually do all this work out here. Right, so it's gone. And now I'm going to say if I start an interaction, oh, maybe if I put this in the right spot, that'll help. What else am I missing? Do I need to say that I support touch interaction, maybe? So I know with Skia controls or SkiaSharp controls, you at least have to opt in to touch interaction. So I'm wondering, I'm guessing that this probably does it by default. Like it probably auto opts in. But I don't see it here. Let me keep on. Let me dig. So touch enabled is set to true. Okay, so that should be getting that. Equals not is checked, because I'm not even, I don't care. What am I doing here? So if is checked. All right, let me see if I have to shut this thing down and restart it, maybe. Let's see how this goes. I mean, there's a high chance that I'm doing something dumb. Skia control sample. If I start my interaction, again, I wonder if I can. It's weird that I can't breakpoint on these. I don't know if I can just like try attaching those to begin with. Uh-oh. It yelled at me for having some kind of bad code. Let's see. Yeah, so that's true. You know, I wonder if it doesn't like tell it to invalidate when that happens. Do they explicitly send an invalidation. Because I wonder if I just do like, like I wonder if that'll get it for me now. Yeah. So I wonder, like, I feel like this one, it's probably because it has, I'm guessing, like, I don't have, like, this property right here doesn't send any kind of change notification. So it doesn't really know that anything changed here. And I'm guessing somewhere here in my slider implementation, there is something that's getting set. Yeah, like I bet. Right, so here, let's just try this. So I'm gonna snag this guy out of here. And we're gonna pop this into here, and this will be a bool and a bool, and we're gonna call this it's checked and is checked and is checked, not is checked, and get rid of that guy. No, let's see. Not is checked. I wonder if I have to like do some registration. For that as well. It's tracking. So this is telling it to, this is the layers that it's telling it to draw. Property mapper. A slider. Okay. Right, so there is some work going on here to tell it to go do a redraw, right? So I wonder if I did, where the hell was it? Here. And then I don't really have a chain, I don't think that I'm going to give it. And then this is going to be dot is checked. Now I want to tell it to redraw, which I don't have. And redraw was, yeah. That's like internal here. Abstract control handler. This is down on the Skia control level, so it's public static. What's my difference here? This is a Skia control. Can I change mine? Is that what we should be doing? Everything else looks cool. Checkbox. Accessibility text. Okay, we can do that. Zoinks. Where's our accessibility text? That's Accessibility text will be some kind of I don't really know what we need to put in here, like that's probably good enough for the moment, right? I think I broke it. All right, let's try this now. World-class checkbox inbound. Oh! No! I'm close. I feel like I'm close. Right, so is checked. Should. So I don't know if this guy gets called in anywhere. Let's see. Like, where does this one get called? Oh, okay. Okay. Yep. So we need to pop that guy into our constructor here. And did I have one? No. Typing's hard, everybody. What am I missing there? It's my slider. Property mapper. Like, view property changed. Let's see. Virtual view. Draw mapper, property mapper. Looks like I should be giving it the Skia control mapper, and that it should if I'm reading this right, like it should pick up. What is this guy? This is a control handler. Okay. So maybe I'm close, but maybe I've got the wrong. Maybe I need a Skia abstract control handler. No, that one seems like it needs a type. My virtual view will be or a Skia view maybe. Can I get away with doing that? And then can I do here now? Property mapper. What doesn't it like about this one? That's a property mapper of a checkbox. And are you looking for a specific type of thing? You're looking for one for an SK view. Can we? What kind of awful thing am I about to do to myself here? Maybe this will work. Oh, no. Okay, so close. What I need to figure out is just how to get these property change notifications going out. So I could, like, I feel like I got to do something here. And as we saw, like, I could do this with, like, this works. This will cause this to work. But what I want to do is make this work the right way, right? Which is by doing some kind of a property change notification. So we're close, but we're not quite there. I wonder if I could look in. So it just gets a regular mapper. Yeah, otherwise use what you have, or view property changed. So okay, so it looks like maybe, oh no, that's in a binding. So here, maybe we could listen for that one. View property changed. Let's see if that's even being raised. Oh no. Oh no. Let's stop debugging there for a quick moment. And we'll just like write stuff out here. We'll say name of SK check box and our property. Now, if you could spell or type, that helps quite a bit as well. All right, so what I want to see is when I do the change of the checkbox, does that actually trigger off our change out here? And maybe this is like for the set binding value. Again, this is all brand new. So we haven't got it all figured out quite yet. Yeah, like see how this isn't actually popping out that change. Yeah. So I'm guessing I'm missing something out here to get this to care. Name of SK checkbox is checked. Force a redraw. Yeah. I think I'm close. I don't know if anybody has any thoughts on what could be going on there. This is where we're gonna hit. This is where we need to figure out some of these like real deep property change notification type things. And I'm sure there's probably like something real simple here that Clancy was on. He'd probably be yelling at me like you're You're a goofus, Mike. What you might be yelling just in general. Well, we're close. And speaking of close, it's just about time where I gotta go to see Star Wars. I just realized what time it was. It's noon. So I probably got to shut down here. So yeah, this is really exciting to me. You know, we kind of took a look through here through all the different Skia controls, kind of got a feel for what's going on out there with them. Or I was not the Skia controls, excuse me, the Comet controls. We've got this really awesome hot reload happening out here that I am like very jazzed about. You know, we've got like a totally different paradigm in terms of setting up our UIs. We've got that MVU, the model view update. So it's not MVVM. It's a different world than some of us normally live in, you know? But I think this is like really, like this, if you know me, this is like right up my alley. The way that this code's written, the way that we kind of compose all this stuff. I am really into this. So yeah, I think what I'll probably do, because like I said, I got to bop out here in just a minute. What I want to do is I want to at least finish up this checkbox control to kind of get that out there and do some of my learning on it. I will probably just branch this off and maybe commit it onto my GitHub. So if anybody wants to see that or get their hands on it really quick, you could do that and play around with it. I don't know, how does everybody feel here? Anybody who's hanging out how does everybody feel here about Comet? This is, to me, very exciting. I don't know what the general consensus is. Like, it, you know, if I think of like Flutter and stuff like that, Flutter's cool. I really like it, but also like I love .NET, so it's gonna be hard for me to get off of .NET. But like, I've got everything that I want in .NET. For me, I could do all my dumb Skia drawing stuff right in line here. I've got the ability to like just change values on the fly, right? So I'm just like out here, I don't know, we want that stroke to be 8. Cool. And that just works. Oh, Dan, yeah, sorry too. And I know Dan's got that demo. Maybe next week we could go through that demo. I would love to go through that and take a look and see how we could take some like existing paradigms that we have, some stuff from Prism, you know, some stuff that everybody's here from or maybe familiar with, especially if you're coming from like the forms world, and how we can apply some of that like DI type stuff and things out there. I think that's cool. This is really, this is very exciting. To me, this is super exciting. Yeah, Dan, if you'd want to jump on as well and talk through it, I think that would be fantastic. Yeah, let's coordinate and talk about that. Let's see. David, is that David Orton now that you're mentioning is against DI? If it is him, don't listen to him. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Clancy's against DI. Yeah, I mean, I think the case against DI is like speed, probably more than anything, right? And like hiding. You know, hiding's a good thing and a bad thing about DI. And DI has some like, usually you end up with some amount of like magic reflection code to go make things happen. It like for an enterprise app, it is, I don't want to say like 100% essential, but boy, is it going to save your ass time and time again by being able to test things and mock things out and do stuff like that with DI. If you're just cooking up like your own fun thing and YOLO, I don't know, like you probably don't need it. You know, it just depends on what you're making out there too. Like we always do some amount of either service locators or dependency injection for all of our apps. There's no way I'm going to write an app for a client and not have like a mocked out service that I could write unit tests against and all that kind of good stuff. So, but like if I'm building something like this, am I going to do DI? I don't know. Probably not. I don't, you know, like, cause well, whatever. Like what I'm doing here is just something stupid, just making this kind of checkbox control. So that's not a huge deal. But yeah. Yeah, Visual Studio has to use dependency injection. There's no way Visual Studio is doing anything without dependency injection. Don't listen to me. This is for David Orton now as well. Do not listen to him. He's from St. Louis. He can't be trusted. I'm just kidding. Orton now rules. I was joking around. I love David. So yeah. So cool. So I think, yeah, my wife's probably going to come out here and kick the door in about 2 seconds. So I probably got to head out. So maybe next week, Dan, if you're around, maybe we could figure out something here and do like a combined stream. That'd be awesome. And take a look at the stuff that you built out there. Otherwise, I think I'm going to be probably playing around with Comet a little bit more here. Maybe I'll do like a public repository and just kind of do some control work out there and do some porting work out there. But it should be fun. Yeah, I'm off to Star Wars. I'll probably post a hot take out on Twitter of how I feel about it, but it's Star Wars, so even if it's terrible, I'm going to enjoy it. It's a big spectacle. There's no way it could be bad. So with that, I'm going to shut this down. Hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend. If you have any questions, if you have any thoughts or anything like that, my Twitter is out there on Twitch. So just come grab me on Twitter, scream at me out there. If I don't see you beforehand, if you celebrate Christmas or whatever you celebrate, have a great holiday season here, and I'll talk to you soon.